Well, hello, I am Amanda Patterson. I am South Florida's anxiety expert, and I'm going to be talking about triggers to anxiety and how to manage them. And so this is just a video that's educational and informational for you. It's not a substitute for therapy. So if you're looking for a therapist, maybe if you're looking in Davie, you can come to our office, Caring Therapists of Broward, if you're in the South Florida area. But if you're really struggling with anxiety, I would highly recommend that you talk to a professional about that. Obviously I'm a therapist, so I'm a big advocate of therapy. And so I just wanted to kind of put that disclaimer out there first, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about triggers to anxiety and how to manage them. And so people have a lot of different triggers to their anxiety, and people have a lot of different fears that come up. And so things that can be triggers are as simple as not simple, nothing, related to anxiety is simple, but even if changes happen at work, or school is getting ready to start, or shifts that are occurring in your life. And so that's a pretty common trigger that creates anxiety in people. The other type of trigger that I have noticed is sort of more specific around things like flying, driving on overpasses, being scared of frogs or bugs or spiders. I live somewhere now where there's a lot of frogs. I wouldn't say I'm a very big fan of frogs, so I understand that can definitely be a trigger for somebody. And so I think it's really important when we're looking at our anxiety to know what triggers us so we can be mindful of them. Maybe I shouldn't have moved somewhere where there's frogs, right? But you can't always avoid your triggers. And so when you can't avoid your triggers, what you need to do is then you need to be able to cope with those triggers. And that's where the first thing I'll say is going to therapy is going to be a really great way. You're going to have space every single week to talk to somebody about what you're scared of, what's transitioning in your life, or what are those specific things that are creating anxiety for you, right? And then the other things that you can do is engage in self-care, right? Really take care of yourself, making sure that you're sleeping enough. We need roughly 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night. Some people need more, some people need less. There's some, battle out there about whether people can really function on less, but we generally need to sleep. We generally need to eat. We need to eat healthy, right? A lot of people can be triggered with anxiety around eating. There's sort of that hangry idea, right? You're hungry and angry, but your anxiety can also be triggered when you're hungry, thinking that maybe you're not going to be able to get food, you're not going to be able to eat when you want to eat, and when is the next time you're going to eat? And then that overthinking starts. And so you want to make sure that all of your basic needs are really met and taken care of, that you're sleeping, that you're eating, that you're drinking enough water, that you're not spread too thin. I know that is very hard for a lot of people, and people with anxiety tend to spread themselves out very thin, either through a drive of wanting to, take care of everything and be perfect and have everything managed, or it's just our anxiety sometimes can give us sort of the energy to be able to do a lot of things, even though that's not very good for you. So you're gonna want to take a look at your schedule and see how spread thin you are. Are there some things that don't align with your values that maybe you can cut off, or things that you just can move to the next day, or things that would be good for you to do for you to start engaging in that you're not engaging in. So you want to take a look at your schedule, and then you want to put in some time for some meditation, journaling, self-reflection, some type of mindfulness practice, something that you do regularly. I would say something that you do every single day, even if you just go sit outside in your backyard and breathe in fresh air for a moment and then come back. It can be 1 minute. It doesn't need to be, a 30-minute, silent meditation. It could be a 5-minute meditation. I start so many of my clients off on 5-minute meditations because they can't really tolerate more than 5 minutes. And a lot of people just don't have time for that. And so I would recommend that you really carve out time every single day for your self-care, for mindfulness practices that are really good for you. And the final thing that you're gonna wanna do to cope is to get moving. Exercise is amazing for anxiety and really for a lot of mental health issues and just for overall wellness. Now, if you go running, that doesn't mean that's gonna cure your anxiety, but again, we're looking to create benchmarks for your overall health and wellness. And one of the ways that you can do that is through exercising. You don't have to run a marathon. You can go walking for 20 minutes a day out in nature. You can do a yoga video. You can go to classes. You can work out in a way that works for you. A lot of people don't like to work out, and I get that, but you can find ways to create movement in your body so you can sort of break up some of that energy that maybe you feel in your chest or in your stomach that is related to anxiety. And so you definitely want to get your body moving so that you can manage some of that anxiety that is inside. So the thing about anxiety that I'll end on is that a lot of it is in our body and a lot of it is in our head. And so we want to make sure that we're sort of tackling both of those things. So then that way you're managing the overthinking, but you're also managing that feeling that you get when you're scared, when that anxiety hits you. And so I hope you have enjoyed this video on triggers and on how to cope with anxiety.